You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.
Good morning, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk Sunday stream of consciousness. Hope everybody's doing well today. Beautiful weekend so far here in the great Northeast. Finally, after it seems months of rain and unbearable humidity and heat indexes, and sat outside yesterday most of the day with some adult beverages and watching the Olympic men's basketball team win, along with some other Olympic events and some baseball. Had a lot going on. Sat outside by the fire for a little bit. And today looks like a nice day until at least later on as well. So great weekend. Hope you're having a great weekend. A shout out to my wife who's not feeling great. She had some stuff done, not a major procedure Friday, but some side effects that are normal. The last couple of days, not feeling great. So I wish her feels better, and I will be taking great care of her today. Quick shout out to everybody who's watching us today on Facebook, our YouTube, I should say, TGI Sports Talks, Facebook, YouTube pages. We're live on Roku on the National Streaming Sports Network. Get those. Well, you'll probably find it under National Streaming or Northeast Streaming Sports still. But get it downloaded. Lots of great content there. And we'll thank all the groups, too, that will allow us to share it later. We'll have it on Twitter later. We can't go live anymore because we won't pay. We'll see. DDH, thumbs up. And what else I want to say? A quick shout out to some of our favorite groups, let's say, not better. They're all great. All the guys that support us. The Bottom Line Sports with Flo in the game. Ken has been in a few times. Hopefully he comes in with the questions that he had Friday about the Cowboys. We can follow that up. Let me just go to my comments, make sure everybody can hear me because we had a problem one time. Stick with me, guys. We'll go right to your comments in just a second. So Flo and the gang at the Bottom Line Sports. Obviously, Let's Talk Sports I'll throw out there, too, because even though we aren't broadcasting live on their YouTube channel, we still do share our content to their Facebook page, which we thank them for. Tanner D, Scott Kobe, who I see in the room already, Nick Bodkins and the crew over there. So great stuff going on over there. Sports Authorities with John Gonzalez. Good stuff. John does the best. I'm telling you, he's one of the best admins I've ever run into. And then, of course, speaking of great admins, these guys are all great admins, but Greg Rawlings over there at America's Pastime, The Love of Baseball. Ralph Williams at RW Media catches Sports Corner every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time with Smoking Jim Frazier. And he's also got a lot of other great content. So check out RW Media. Go like it if you haven't and follow him. Couple quick shout outs too. I want to give a quick shout out to Brian McRae, who was my guest on Friday. We got off to a late start with the interview. I had some fun talking about father-son duos since his dad, Hal McRae, not only played in the major leagues with great results, but also managed his son, Brian. So we had about a 35 minute discussion about great father-son duos and expanded to other sports. We had a lot of fun. This week coming up, I have a tentative date with Larry Sorensen, but I'm not sure. We could be winging it this coming Friday, but we'll have Sidney Moncrief on the 23rd. Great Arizona Diamondback. Oh my God. Keith, drink more coffee or less beer on Saturdays. No, I was not. I had about 5 drinks. Sitting in my backyard. What else? What was I going to say? Sidney Moncrief from Arkansas and with the Milwaukee Bucks. Great NBA player, great defensive player. And then we'll have Ernie DiGregorio on the 30th. Lots of stuff to get into today. I'm going to run some stuff out here quickly. Let me just say some good mornings. Scott Kobe, where the heck are you? It's not like you're doing another show. Did you make the nurses mad again at the home? Oh, jeez. I'm here. Oh, yeah. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Drew. Good to have you with us, as always. Good morning, Dave Guyette. JB from Back It Up Binge podcast. Check out his stuff on YouTube. Good stuff from JB. His own stuff. Plus, he posts a lot of great old stuff. Paul Spada, our Boston fan up in Wisconsin. Welcome. Good morning to you. CA, I got some news for you, and I don't care if we change it. Good morning, everyone. Just send an email to everyone in fantasy football. Please give Keith and I a heads up. Invite others. Offer suggestions of what you might like to see. Just so you know, CA, got too many initials on this show. I did not realize when we changed the draft date, and I don't care. We don't have to change it again. You make that call. I'll have to rank my players. I'll be at a concert. I could probably try to get in there. I don't know what time it starts. I might be able to do it sitting there in the stands. I don't know. But we're going to SPAC for somebody, Walter Hayes. We're having a lot of fun. So whatever, I can rank my players. Not a big deal if we don't want to change it again. I'm not that worried about it. Good morning, Anthony Price. Good to have you with us. Just before we get into things, guys, again, it's your show. It's your show. Bring up any topics you want. We go off we even get off the sports trail sometimes today. So a couple things I'll throw out there. And I'll kind of go Major League Baseball. We got the White Sox. 124 game pace to lose games for the year, breaking a record by 4. This continues. I do think they'll break the record. They fired their manager, Grafal. Is he a fall guy? I mean, he lost 100 games last year, but this team loses 21 straight, then they win and they fire him. A little odd. We got a good race in the AL West. Brewers hot. We got a good race in the National League West with the Padres, the Dodgers, the D-backs. The Giants are starting to play well, getting the wild card race. Bogarts is out at shortstop and at right field for the Dodgers. Speaking of that, rest in peace. I got a couple rest in pieces too, by the way. Billy Beane, former Major League Baseball player with the Mets and the A's. This is not Billy Beane, the Moneyball guy, guys. Just so you know, what I saw so much misinformation when this happened, saying Billy Beane from Moneyball died. He's got an E on the end of his name. He's different, totally different player. And Billy Beane was one of the first guys that played Major League Baseball, not during his career. And as far as I know, there's only a couple that have come out. The only two I know are Billy Beane and Glenn Burke that have come out as gay men. And Billy Beane did continue his career as an executive in Major League Baseball and an executive with Major League Baseball until his passing. Our condolences go out to him and his family. And in golf, the great Chichi Rodriguez. I mean, if you grew up when I did, watching Chichi Rodriguez was an adventure, man. He was an exciting player. He won 8 times on the regular tour. And then when they had the senior tour start for 50 and over, Chichi was one of the guys who made that tour with his flamboyant style. Never won a major on either tour. But that doesn't diminish. Chichi Rodriguez was a great contributor to the game of golf, and our condolences again go to his family and friends. A couple other things we can talk about today. We had the NFL preseason kickoff yesterday. Any thoughts about your teams? These games don't mean a lot. I'd like to see starters play. Do you think the NFL handles preseason games correctly? I don't. Rookie quarterbacks Williams and Daniels in short stints played well, I thought, yesterday. McCarthy did okay. What was Antonio Pierce doing at the end of the Minnesota game, by the way? Somebody check the line on that game. Kickoff rules. How ridiculous and how drunk were the people that put this thing into play? Oh, my God. Fields didn't have a bad day for Pittsburgh. We got the Harbaugh sanctions that came down NCAA football. They're meaningless. He's never going back to college. It really doesn't matter. Can't read that though. We'll get back to that. The Olympics. The Olympic men win their 5th straight gold in men's basketball. And guys, I don't think this is hyperbole. I really don't. I've never seen it as an exciting, as an exhilarating finish to a game. I just haven't. I've been watching basketball a long time. And what Steph Curry did and what LeBron did during this game, I was going back and forth with Rick Sherlock. I know he's not a big fan of LeBron. You can say what you want about LeBron, but LeBron wants to win. And guys don't think these millionaires care about winning these games. They do. Steph Curry made some shots that made I choked when I was drinking on that one ball he shot up over Wemby. Oh, my God. It was just tremendous. The women play today for the title. We can talk a little bit. We can talk about Noah Lyles if you'd like. Had COVID, ran the 200. Do you care? I don't care. What's his name? Carl Lewis did rip the men and women had great track and field. I think they set a record for medals, or had the most medals they've had in 20 plus years. And Carl Lewis is ripping the people in running the track and field program. Over the men's 4x400 relay race, because Noah Lyles couldn't run the anchor, and they mixed up the whole lineup rather than just replace the anchor. Boxing's out of the 28 Olympics, by the way. Your thoughts on that? The boxing's, especially the heavyweight division's dying. Childs had to give back a bronze because of some stuff. But I think overall it's been a great Olympics. I didn't see anybody kneeling for their flag presentations. And Chris, I don't want to steal. There's a fun fact here that I'm not going to steal from Chris Ifgrave, so put it up there, buddy. Anyway, we got that. We got all those topics, and we got more. Oh, by the way, now we got a decent audience. Congratulations to Bob Sherlock, Perth grad, brother of Rick Sherlock, who's obviously a great supporter of this show. He is going into the National Semi-Pro Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Played for the Glove City Colonials up here for, Jesus, I don't know how many years. Rick, you can probably fill us in on that. Great player. So I know several other players have gone, and coaches have gone into the Hall of Fame that were Colonials. Bob Bean, Joe Hall, Harry Robinson, Rick Sager, I know went in here. I think was the last guy that might have gone. Maybe it was Harry. I don't remember. I don't know if Johnny Dove is in Rick, but I got to believe he should be. If you're listening, Johnny, you should be. If you are, congratulations. I don't have the list. Rick would have a better idea than I would. Anyway, let's dive into all that and more, guys. So congratulations, Bob. Probably not watching us this morning, but thumbs up to you, buddy. Good guy, too. There's no nicer guy in the freaking world than Bob Sherlock, I can tell you right now. There's Rick Sherlock right now. Good morning. Quick update. My brother Bob. There you go. Bob is being inducted into the Hall of Fame in Canton in October. For anyone who saw him play defensive end, you saw one of the best in the Empire Football League for years. Congratulations, number 84. And as I said a minute ago, I back up that 100%. And I got to tell you, and I mean this in all sincerity, and I haven't seen Bobby in a lot of years, Rick. But I used to, hang out with Bobby and Johnny and Mike Plunk a little bit, Louie, for a number of years right after, mid-20s, whatever. And then I'd see him at the golf course on Saturdays and Sundays. He played with Tim O'Brien. I played at regular group with Beeks and Tudor Brown and Bob Sitchie. Throw another name out there, an immortal. But I haven't seen him in a lot of years. But I will tell you that I don't know of a nicer guy than your brother. Jerry Jones needs to retire. There you go, Anthony. Good call. Now, coming from a Redskins fan, team formerly known as a Redskins fan. No, wait a minute. You're not a Redskins. Yes, you are a Redskins. I always mix this up, Anthony. You are a Redskins fan. I don't want to make you a Baltimore fan. I don't know why. Jerry Jones. I had a question from Ken from the Bottom Line Sports Group on Friday when we were kind of filling time before Brian McCray came in. I kind of answered his question, but I didn't dive into it because we were really on a roll, I thought, with the father-son combinations. But he asked about how I thought the Cowboys would do. We'll look at their schedule if we want here today, if enough questions come up, and how Dak will do. I think Dak will do fine. Do I think Jerry's going to sign Dak? I don't know. He's going to get $60 million probably. Somebody's going to sign him. It's either going to be Cowboys or somebody else. And it's going to be interesting to see how that CD Lamb Cowboy standoff ends, because I'm not in favor of guys not honoring their contracts, right? But CD Lamb's got no choice but to play or sit and not get paid. And if Jerry wants to win, he's got no choice but to pay him and get him in camp. Paul says the Sox get to 130. That'd be awesome. I got to tell you, I've done this on the MLB update and on this show. I'm rooting for him. Season's over for you guys. Go out there and swallow your pride and set a record. Which sounds really odd. It's too funny. But you might be right. Right now, they're on a pace for 124. Back on a 2-game losing streak after winning 1 game. Good job. Or 3-game losing streak, right? I think 3-game losing streak, if I'm not mistaken. Let me take a quick look. Let's get this accurate, will we? Shall we? Will we is a different question. Yes, 3 losses. So they are now 1 and 24 in their last 25. Keep that pace up. They'll lose 100 and what's the most they can lose? So you're saying, actually, Paul, that they're only going to win 4 more games out of what do they got left? 40? A little more than 40, 45-ish. They could do it. They could do it. U.S. is doing great in the Olympics, by the way. I'll give you a quick medal count. Hold on, I had it up here. Right now, the U.S. has won a total of 125 medals. China at 91. Great Britain has moved ahead of the home team, France, into third at 65. Chris, I don't want to steal Chris. Chris is going to bring it up. I'll since we're talking about it, I have to attribute this to Chris F. Grave, mentioned to me yesterday. Every single team entered in the Olympics has won a medal. I think that's pretty cool. And I think there's been great camaraderie here, except for a couple instances. I think people have represented their country very well. And the goals, by the way, we're still behind China by 1. I don't think China's got a shot today for any. The U.S. has a shot in they got a shot in this bike race I'm watching right now. I don't know how I got on here. Women's basketball final is at 9:30. I get a rematch, not a rematch, or the same matchup the men had against France. The French played well yesterday, by the way. God bless them, played really well. So I know there's at least 4 events. 4 events, I think, that the U.S. has a chance for gold in and could pass the Chinese there. Now we can talk more about the Olympics. I've had a blast watching these Olympics, by the way. I like track and field a lot. There's been a lot of excitement in the track and field. I like the swimming. A lot of fun there. By the way, while we're on the topic of, I said I don't believe anybody's kneeled. I made a bad comment last week, which I want to apologize for, which I know was pointed out last week, but I said, and I had read somewhere incorrectly, I was reading a quote from Rowdy Gaines, who's the swimming announcer, was a great Olympic swimmer for the U.S. back in '84. He had mentioned that, anybody who kneeled for their flag during Olympic play should be sent home. I took it to mean, I thought it was and he's talking about Brittany Grenier, whatever the hell her name is. Drew, help me out again. I guess I just don't care that much. That she had kneeled or turned her back or whatever. She did not. And as far as I know, nobody has. And my apologies to Brittany. And I kind of feel, look at here, I don't get all that worked up about it, which a lot of my people on my side of the political aisle do. I can still separate sports and your political protests. I don't like them. I don't have to like them, but I feel I have the right to separate the two when I want to. Now, if you go and play a sport under the color of your flag, that'd be a totally different story. Just putting that out there. JB, question. I have a debate going in my circles. Curious what you think. NFL Hall of Fame. Does longevity hurt or help? Check out Irving Fryer's stats. Does he belong in Canton? Well, here's the problem, right? And that's always a question. It's a question in whatever Hall of Fame debate we're having. Some guys put up great stats over a short period of time. You know, to me, if you were dominant or at the top of your field, let's say over an extended period of time, but your career was short, I'm going to still consider you. Thurman Munson, Don Mattingly. And I'm sure there's some others I can come up with. Veda Pinson, we had his son on recently. And there's some guys who get in just because they play for 20 plus years and compile a bunch of numbers. I do think Irving Fryer belongs in the Hall of Fame. I interviewed Irving a little over a year ago on the 101 with Keith Engle's show, and Irving is now a minister, and he's had his problems. He had his problems off the field. That might be held against him. I don't know. So I think longevity could hurt or help because there will be some guys who look at you a compiler. You play a long time, you better win some, in my mind, right? And that's going to be held against Irving probably too. Didn't win any Super Bowls. That's some great numbers. He's a great college player, by the way, too, which does not matter for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, obviously. But to answer your question bluntly, yes, he belongs. I said on the Mac and Jack show, if a kicker kicks in the landing zone, do they win a prize? I did see that comment come up. This is the stupidest thing. Again, I'll repeat. How drunk were these guys when they came up with this freaking rule? My buddy Mark texted me during the game. We were talking about it Thursday night, watching the Patriots and Panthers, by the way, which, God, it was impossible to watch. The McCourty brothers were doing the game, and it was kind of entertaining. They did the game with Scott Zolak and the feed that we had, so at least that kept me entertained. But this is stupid. I mean, special teams is important, and guys, we talked about at the end before I left. James Martin brought it up that there's a lot of guys who aren't going to get jobs because I don't need gunners. I don't need guys who just run down the field with reckless abandon 60 yards and throw their body at somebody, which the NFL doesn't want. That's part of what's exciting about this kickoff, the kickoffs. They try to eliminate that because they feel it's the most dangerous play in football. All plays are dangerous in football. You want to legislate the violence out of it, you're going to kill the game. So this is ridiculous. The kick, and this is really the first time I saw it really up close. I didn't watch really any of the Hall of Fame game. So I saw several kickoffs Thursday night, and I'm like, so the guy was catching the ball. So these guys are standing on their respective 40s, right? And they can't move until the guy catches the ball, and he's like 8 yards away from him, it seems. So it's just like really a glorified running play at that point. And I'm probably going to use maybe more of my good defensive players on this type of play. Not guys who play special teams as a rule. Guys like Matthew Slater, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, telling you right now, and he should be, retired from the Patriots last year after 18 years. Guys like him are marginalizing this type of thing. It's stupid, right? I mean, I agree. They should get a prize. And the guys who came up with this rule should probably go out and go to rehab, 28 days away, rest up. Steph was just out of his mind. Steph Curry, who struggled through these games until the second half, really, of the semifinal, he was out of his mind. He scored 24 points yesterday. 12 of them in the last 3 minutes. That shot, I mean, he hit some just daggers, man. And by the way, how old am I that Ian Eagle, who I remember being just a kid, as an announcer when he started with the Nets, and then he's made his way up to be a prominent play-by-play caller with, I think he's with CBS. His son Noah I think his name is Noah. I think a lot of things this morning. Was doing a game yesterday. Looked like he was 16 years old. How old am I? Yes, I'm going to be older in 3 days. 4 days. 4 days? But Steph was just out of his mind. It was fun. I got to tell you, and again, maybe it's a little hyperbole, and maybe somebody can tell me they didn't care about this and they don't care about basketball. This was really fun. They played some defense. When this team didn't play well, it was defense. The French were very game. They played very, very well. Wemby especially. This kid, I can't pronounce his name, but he's not an NBA player. Big fan favorite over there in France. I'll never be able to say his name, so I'm not even going to try. He played great. Fournier wasn't very good, I didn't think. Hit a three near the end. This was a 3-point game with about, I don't know what it was. It might have been under 3 minutes or right over 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes maybe. And Steph just hit four unbelievable shots, and one is one of the all-time great shots. It's blowing up the internet right now. Just where he gets that ball, Wemby, who's a foot taller than Steph, the arc he has on his ball, I just fell out of my seat. My wife was excited to watch this. She doesn't give two craps about basketball. She was all excited watching this. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in sports. Again, maybe it's a little hyperbole, and maybe I'm just, still pumped up in the moment. But, oh, my God. And LeBron, quite honestly, Rick and I were going back this, and you guys who follow this show have seen Rick's comments about LeBron and his very colorful nicknames or takes on his last name, which are great. I love funny's always funny. You've got to respect his game. You don't have to respect the guy. Again, there are instances where, things outside of the game might influence how I feel about a guy. If he beats his wife, for instance, sorry, on. He's a great player. He's still at 39 years old. He's one of the top 5 players in the world. And so's Durant when he's healthy, by the way. Those 3 guys, you can say what you want about Steve Kerr. And anybody who wants to say, I'm sorry, Paul. I know you're probably going to say something about, I missed a comment from you, Paul. I'll go back, by the way. I didn't see it. And I got to apologize to Chris, too, because I missed I went by your standard ending question Friday for our interview, Brian McCray, and I didn't go back to it. I skipped over it so I could answer some others and go back. I never did. I apologize. What was I going to say? Oh, Steve Kerr. If you got a problem with Jason Tatum not playing, I don't really care. Steve Kerr's job was to put the best players on a team that played best together. They won a gold medal. That was the important part. You didn't see the Dream Teamers in 92 complaining about their playing time. And there was a lot more great players on that team than were on this team. Every one of those guys was a Hall of Famer. That may or may not be the case here, but it's still the only Dream Team. But you didn't see them complain about playing time. Steve Kerr did a great job. That was a tremendous coaching staff, by the way, with Kerr and Eric Spoelstra, one of the most underrated coaches in the NBA. Mark Few, one of the most underrated coaches in college. And I'm missing somebody. Who else was a coach there? I checked this out earlier. Really lost my coffee. I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? No, I just had it open. Oh, Tyronn Lue from the Clippers. Only got an NBA championship under his belt. People thought the moment was too big for Steve Kerr. He's won 4 NBA championships, managed some of the biggest egos, or coached some of the biggest egos in the sport. Anyway, Paul Spada, Joe Milton is the best quarterback the Pats have today. Yes, Paul. But I don't know that that's going to be the case. Joe Milton has been the best quarterback that the Patriots have had in camp up so far. He's played the best. So there's two different things here. I still think there's no way he starts. There's no way Drake May doesn't get every opportunity to be the quarterback here at some point in the future. But Joe Milton has been the best quarterback. He played the best Thursday night, but he also was playing against them. Remember, he was also playing a bunch of guys who will be delivering beer in 3 weeks. But that I don't, and none of that means he won't be a great player, a good player. Listen, he get picked in the 6th round. Am I right? 6th round. I can remember another 6th rounder that worked out pretty good for the Patriots. And remember, while I'm telling you Drake May will get every opportunity to win this job when the time is right, before Milton, I would think. Let's remember, I was not in favor of taking Drake May. I was in favor of drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. in that slot, number 3. Taking a quarterback later, like Joe Milton, like Michael Pratt, who I'm not sure how he's doing in preseason or training camp, but whatever. A project would have been fine. I had a bridge in Jacoby Myers. But if Milton turns out to be the best quarterback this team has, Paul, which it's possible he will be, up till today, and it's only been 10 days of training camp or whatever, 2 weeks. Well, then they made a mistake. I want to think they know what they're doing. I said, and it won't be 2020 hindsight if it comes to fruition, Marvin Harrison was the pick. Generational player, potentially. Don't see Drake May being that guy. Giants need a quarterback ASAP, or neighbors are going to get upset. Well, listen, I don't think, did Jones even play? I don't think Jones even played, so we don't know that they have I'm a Daniel Jones fan. I think Daniel Jones just needs to stay healthy. And I hate to say this, Anthony, but I think the Giants will finish second in that division because I think the Eagles got bigger issues than they want to admit, like chemistry issues. And you may not think that matters, but it matters a lot. So again, it remains to be seen. But, and by the way, if you watched Hard Knocks, the Giants offseason, right now it's the Bears. Episode 1 was very intriguing. I think I'm going to enjoy this preseason with the Bears. Offseason, which was a new addition to the Hard Knocks family, was the Giants, and it covered free agency, it covered the draft, it covered everything. Well, when you watch this, you see behind the scenes, the Giants were doing a lot of maneuvering to potentially move up and get a quarterback. They had Jaden Daniels in. They had Drake May in. They had all the wide receivers in, obviously. But they had J.J. McCarthy in. And they had Caleb Williams in, but they knew they weren't getting him. They were looking to move up out of that 6th spot and pick a quarterback. They were trying to trade with the Patriots right up until the draft started. And it's unlikely because they liked Harrison. They knew they wouldn't probably get him, but they liked Harrison. They liked Rome Odunze. They liked Neighbors, who they drafted. But so they weren't trading up to 3 to get a wide receiver. They knew they could sit there and get one of those 3 guys. And personally, from what I saw, they got the guy they wanted all along anyway. So they were trying to move up to 3 to get a quarterback. So, and they basically said, well, our fate is in Daniel Jones's hands. Now, they better get a backup quarterback because I can tell you, Drew Lock stinks. I still think they finished second. I got your Redskins third. I'm sorry, fourth, and Eagles. But listen, the Redskins could be much better. Oh, I'm sorry. Team formerly known as the Redskins. I don't want to offend anybody here. Said Keith Never. Raiders favored by 3, over under 40.5. Well, it didn't affect the over under, but they were down 4. Oh, they were favored by 4. I'm sorry. My bad. So I'm reading this the wrong way. So it didn't affect anything. Okay, that's good to know. And I wasn't saying it was because I don't believe in all that conspiracy nonsense. I was just kind of throwing that out there. But Antonio Pierce really wanted to lose that game by 1, apparently. So, God bless him. The breakdancing competition was epic. Oh my God! I walked in yesterday. My wife had come inside because she wasn't feeling really well, so she was in her recliner. And I think it was after the basketball was over. But I watched it. There's this guy spinning around on his head, and she's all excited. I'm like, I can't sit here and watch this. Sorry. How is breakdancing in any way a sport? And by the way, I've done a lot of breakdancing in my life. Very little of it on purpose, right? I hope I said that here on the Mac and Jack show last week, but oh, I wish. Thank you, Scott, for bringing that up. And I learned a lot. Hang on, I'll go right back. I'll go right back. Olympics. I learned when we were away at Mystic a couple of weeks ago, and we were out to dinner, and my wife and her son bring up dressage. And I'm like, what the hell is dressage? Never heard of it. It's not a real sport. I thought they were making it up. It's a real sport. It's been around forever. It's horse dancing. So I said, that's not a sport either. I'm sorry. I mean, I get all steeplechase and stuff. That's all sports. Horse dancing, combine it. Now, if I saw a horse break dancing, that would be impressive. That would impress me, and I would probably watch. Now, if we combine it with like synchronized swimming and we have a horse breakdancing in a pool with a bunch of other horses, I think that'd be really cool too. But otherwise, I just can't. I just can't. Anthony, the draft time for the Fantasy Football League. I know that CA, who is our admin, by the way, I am just kind of the namesake for this league. But CA changed it the first time because I think he felt we wouldn't have the league full. We still don't know who's in. I mean, there's 12 teams in there still, all from last year, and we need to hear from you guys. And maybe I need to. Well, I think CA actually sent an email. He said to everybody, so please respond, so we know that you're in, and we got at least 12. And if he changed it again, there he goes. Sorry, Anthony. He just changed it now because I made a comment at the top that I didn't realize when he changed it to the first. I got a concert at Saratoga Performing Arts Center that night. I could probably do it from my phone before the concert starts, but now he changed it to the third for me. So thank you, CA. I wasn't saying he needed to do that, but in any event, guys, please respond to that email CA sent. And CA, please get back to me so we know what we got to do. I'm going to repost it again to all my social media outlets. Here's the irony, Drew says. Breaking, created in the U.S., is not in the LA Olympics. Can't make this shit. Can't make this stuff up, right? Sorry, I almost said a bad word. Which wouldn't have been French, and I would have said, pardon my French. By the way, I mentioned earlier, too, you know what else isn't part of the and I'm surprised at this. Boxing, as we stand today, is not part of the U.S., the Olympics when they return to LA in 2028, which is kind of a sad maybe a sad commentary on the sport. And we'll talk. I'm sure that'll get talked about in the Mac and Jack show with Jack Welch there, or Jack Hirsch. Jack Hirsch wishes you was Jack Welch. Or well, actually, he probably doesn't because Jack Welch is dead. So interesting. You know, the other thing that's interesting about the LA Olympics, the next Olympics coming up, Summer Olympics, we'll have Winter Olympics in 26. Is whether some of these older athletes like Simone Biles, like I guess even LeBron, he's 39. Is he going to play at 43? He could play. Remember, Magic Johnson was retired when he played on the Dream Team in '92 because of his AIDS situation or HIV situation, I guess, to be more accurate. So it's good. And there was Simone Biles, and there was some of the swimmers who, listen, they've been around for a long time, some of these people, whether they come back. Steph Curry says this is his one and only Olympics. I'm really not sure. I haven't figured out why Steph hadn't played up until now. I'm assuming Tokyo maybe didn't want to play because of the COVID situation. I mean, when you think about it, Kevin Durant, who I don't think is a whole lot older than Steph, got his 4th gold medal. Now, in fairness, he may have played because they used to take a college guy all the time. He might have been that guy. But he was probably just coming out of college because I think he only played 1 year at Texas. Or it could have been in that, weird year when they were separating the Winter and Summer Olympics from not playing in the same year anymore. Where they had like 2 Olympics 2 years apart or something. So I'm not really sure how that's happened. And Steph said this might be his only shot. So he was really excited to win this. But anyway, breaking, good God. 2. Congratulations. There you go, Rick. There's a congratulations to Bob Sherlock. Bo Jackson talked about what he learned from injury, swore up and down that he would not let his kids play football. We started talking this. Well, we started talking here too. I saw Chris had put that comment up in the Sunday big football show, whatever we're calling it over there on National Streaming Sports. I guessed over there from a little after 8 until 8:30 when I start this show every Sunday. And again, I don't know if you're just making that comment, Chris, or you have a thought on injuries. Listen, football is a dangerous sport. It's a violent sport. You can't take the violence out. And these guys know, as we talked about this morning, they know what they're in danger. They're putting themselves in danger of cognitive issues later on. They're putting themselves in danger of not being able to walk. You see a lot of these guys are fine, but then you see a lot of guys, some tragic stories like Junior Seau and I'm trying to think some of the other guys. There's a player for the Eagles or a player for the Bears. Tragic stories where they took their own lives and because of, again, theoretically, their football career. But they knew what they were doing. Nobody put a gun to their head to take the money to play a dangerous sport. So, I mean, to me, it's a slippery slope. And the NFL is on that slope because they can't decide what to do. They changed the kickoff rules themselves because they said it was too dangerous. They made it boring, and then they said, oh, it's too boring. We need to do something different. This is not what should have been done. Get hurt at any play in football. Any play. I don't know what that is. What is that? You got to help me out, Anthony. Was that me? Blind? I'm not sure what that is. Anthony, do me a favor and give me a translation for that meme, would you? Not yet. Johnny's not in yet. Great player again. Johnny Doviak, another Perthite. No, Johnny tunes into the show from time to time. So if you're here, John, I will do the best I can to as I told Veda Pinson Jr., I will join the campaign to get his dad in a baseball Hall of Fame. I'll do my job, or my part, to get Johnny Doviak in the National Semi-Pro Hall of Fame. I know it doesn't mean a lot to you guys outside of our area up here in upstate New York, but we had a lot of fun, and Rick played as well on the Colonials, and I had a lot of fun watching those games every Saturday. We travel to go watch them play. We had a lot of fun, and it was good football, really good football. So I don't know who else is. If you know some of the other guys, Rick, I think you might want to name some of those, and even some that maybe belong. Happy to address that. Yeah, they bet. Not sure that's about. Probably the White Sox. I hit 2 Curry props in the game yesterday. It was an awesome feeling. And again, Scott had bet money at it. Without money, the adrenaline was awesome. I don't remember Chris Chambliss, when I was 16 years old, hitting a home run to win get the Yankees back to the World Series for the first time in 12 years. Was the only thing I could compare it to at the moment. Now, I'm sure the Patriots Super Bowl, first Super Bowl, the Atlanta Super Bowl, I'm sure there's other moments I can come up with. But I don't think that this is, I don't think I'm crazy when I say this is the most exciting game I ever watched because of the way it finished. Maybe that Patriots Super Bowl against Atlanta. Random thoughts. You have given. I did point that out. Maybe I did. If I didn't, I apologize, Rick. Because I meant to, as when I brought up the chats, that Rick has been very, very, has given him lots of props in our chats for sure. He sees EM coming and he played his heart out. I mean, nobody played harder than him. He did get posterizer at the end of the first half. But if you notice, late in the fourth quarter, he went in to posterize a guy. You talked about him looking for payback, right? The guy, and I feel like it was Evan Fournier. I'm not sure. The guy just ran out of his way and let LeBron go to the basket. It was hilarious to watch, actually. Game might have been out of hand by then. I'm not sure exactly what point that happened, but he did get posterized. He is top 5 all time. Many teams played their starters in football. For a series, there's not a quarterback except for. Now I'm trying to think. Every starting quarterback that I know, like Josh Allen played, they play one series and that's it. They need to play more. Again, one of the reasons is we need guys to play. Don't play these games at all if you're going to play them the way you play them. What's the point? Because the way they play them is I had these arguments with the Mad New Yorker constantly. Why play these games if you're not going to play them to get guys ready to play in September? Because September football as a rule is awful. Awful in the NFL. As a rule, there are exceptions to the rule. Plus, guys get hurt anyway. If you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. Special teams rules are crazy and poorly thought out. All of those things are absolutely true. And again, I really feel bad about. I feel bad wasn't clear that Rick, who has had fun with LeBron, has certainly given him his props in our chats for sure. You know, it's a great point because I've dealt with people too, in social media and whatnot, saying these guys don't care. They don't care. Well, they care. You saw them dig deep when they were down 17 against Serbia on Thursday. You can see the way LeBron was playing. Did you see LeBron working on both sides of the court? How hard he worked? That's why he was the MVP of these Olympics. Plus, he was a one guy playing every minute. I don't give a crap about Jason Tatum and how he feels. You're out there for the good of your country. If the good of your country is to sit on the bench and watch guys who are playing better than you or play more cohesive than you, he played a bit yesterday, I believe. It's the first half. But there were some really good contributors. Anthony Davis played well yesterday. Bam, out of bail. Work was really, when he was in the game, he was working hard on both ends of the court. It all came down to defense. During the game Thursday, I know Rick and Kenny, I was kind of going back and forth with them a little bit. And when this team played defense, they were unstoppable. And give the French credit. They played really well, just like Serbia had played well. Fantasy baseball update. I don't think I've gotten in and done. I got to do my lineups. Rickster's leading his matchup 12-7. Pitching categories look sewn up. Keith is moved ahead 10-9. Reverse that. Yeah. That's my second time with Logan Webb. This time I was right. I don't know how I worked out with my Manea pickup last night because I haven't looked at the site yet this morning. I have a little time for him to find and manage his team seriously. Believe it or not, I have managed my team seriously. The only thing I haven't done is sometimes I get busy working and this stuff, and sometimes I just forget my lineup, and that's the danger of a daily thing. And I don't want to ever affect the league negatively. And if I ever do, you can just tell me, and I can, go away. Not that I want to, but I get it. I can't. There are going to be a lot of times during the season I cannot. It's just I don't have it within me. When I'm retired, it'll be different. Right now, there's way too many things going on. My day is so packed with so much BS, work-wise, and then there's this show, and I'm not stopping doing these shows, not for anything. I won't even do it for work. But I think you're joking. And if there's a message in there, that's fine too. It doesn't bother me. Longevity helps. We're back to the NFL. And again, take that in the manner it was intended. I do the best I can. I make a lot of moves. My biggest issue is sometimes I forget to do my lineup just because there's just too much going on. Longevity back to the NFL does help. I think because the numbers will always be there in longevity, right? So you're probably right, Paul. And no, Irving Fryar did not pass away. He's a minister. I want to say he's in the Philly area. I don't remember. And again, I interviewed him on my one-on-one interview show last year, maybe last February, or not this past February, but a year ago. So maybe 18 months ago. It was a great interview. He was very candid about his problems. He's very candid about his time in New England, about some of the coaches that he played for, about some of the things that were good and some things that were bad, why he was better after he left New England. He was an exciting player with the Patriots, by the way. Tremendously exciting player. I don't know why his light won't stay up. Yeah. Both things. He won 2 Super Bowls. There's very few guys, I would say, that have won 2 Super Bowls and are not in the Hall of Fame. Jim Plunkett comes to mind. Let's just take a quick look. NFL. Let's see. Hold on. 2-time. Hold on. Super Bowl winning QBs not in Hall of Fame. Only Jim Plunkett has won multiple Super Bowls and not been inducted to the Hall of Fame. There you go. Eli Manning's going to make the Hall of Fame because of the 2 rings. The fact that those 2 rings were against Tom Brady and the Patriots in the middle of their dynasty only helps his case. And Eli had some decent numbers. I mean, I've been hard on Eli. I mean, Mac McGrath this morning on the show was talking about Drake May and his body language and lack of enthusiasm. Eli Manning played that way his entire career. I haven't been really, again, Eli played 2 great games, made some great throws in 2 Super Bowls. But I saw a comment once that I almost agreed with. That Eli Manning was basically Jay Cutler with 2 freak Super Bowl wins. I'm sure Eli's numbers are better because he played longer. But Eli wasn't always, one of the top quarterbacks in the game. Paul Spada was wrong about Fryer, or think of the wrong Fryer. Here's a classic for this show. Happy birthday, Veda Pinson. Heavenly birthday. Happy birthday, Veda in heaven. Sure, I sent that to Veda Jr. Thank you for pointing that out to me, Chris. I appreciate that. And by the way, kudos to you, Chris. I know I stole your thunder a little bit, but while we were talking about the Olympics, I didn't want to lose sight of the fact that Chris pointed out to me that every team entered in this Olympiad has won a medal, at least one medal. Some of these teams won their first medal ever. That's exciting. We watched a girl from St. Lucia. I said on this show last week, I think. There were medals won, first medals ever for St. Lucia. It was a gold medal for Grenada, who I think won 2 bronzes. Grenada. I was just in those places in February. So if you are a nation that has not won a gold medal or a medal in general in the Olympics, invite me. Now let's make sure it's someplace warm and not some third world country where I'll get held hostage and, my wife will refuse any ransom demands. It's total disrespect to give LeBron an Olympic MVP. I disagree. I don't agree. Listen, I could give it to either guy. I do not think it's total disrespect to Steph. I got to disagree with you, Scott. You and I often agree on most things. Or many things anyway. I don't agree with you here. I don't think it's disrespect. Either one of these guys you could give it to, and I would not have had a problem with. LeBron was the heart and soul of this team. LeBron played way more minutes than Steph or anybody. Yes. Steph finally got it going in the last 2 games and did it very well and did it in the big moments. But it was LeBron that kept this team, I think, on an even keel by playing so hard on both ends of the court. You can see what he gives. It's not just about who scores the most points. Right? Maybe he wasn't the best player. I don't know. Maybe Steph was the best player. And if you're going to give an MVP just for the semis and the finals, then maybe Steph wins. But I don't have a problem. You could have given it to either one of these guys. I do not think it's total disrespect, though, to not give it to Steph. Played great. Doesn't mean it. Who cares? He's got his gold medal. That's what he came there for. He didn't go there to win an MVP. And then to me, here's the thing, too. In this type of competition, why name an MVP? Right? I said Jason Tatum should be quiet. Just sit there on the bench, and there are better guys and better combinations playing. That's why you're not playing. And root your team on, which, again, he did. But just be quiet. And, Mom, be quiet. You're there for the representing your country. And why name an MVP at all? I mean, we don't have the best coach in a tournament. Coaches don't even get medals, by the way. I had this argument with some guy who was like, Steve Kerr. It was over the Jason Tatum thing. And he goes, Steve Kerr shouldn't even get a medal if they win and he doesn't, or they don't win. That's what it was. Sorry. If they don't win a gold medal because he doesn't play Jason Tatum, he shouldn't get a medal at all. Well, how am I going to have an argument with a guy who doesn't even know the coaches don't give medals? Maybe that's not a well-known fact. Maybe I would think it is. Oh, thank you, Drew. Drew is going to bring it up. Yeah, my birthday is coming up. This coming, I don't know, Thursday. I'm not a huge birthday person. It's funny. My wife was more upset that we didn't have a big party for my 60th during COVID, actually right in the middle of COVID in 2020. Than I was. It was just, I love parties, but my birthday, it's just another day to me. I'm a year older. I'm happy to be here. I want to keep having them. I don't want them to be special. I want to have them forever. But thank you, Drew. I appreciate that. Oh, Thursday. Drew's got the day right there. So I won't forget my birthday. Yes, 64 years young. Good morning, Steven. How are you? Was an awesome game, right? Again, I'm so happy. I know we don't talk a lot of basketball here. By the way, the women are just tipping off. And LeBron just entered the building to cheer the women on. I'm reading the closed caption here. So they're just getting started, looking to get a gold medal and tie us with the Chinese. So good morning, Stephen. Good to have you with us. Glad you're doing better. And I'm still pumped over this game. It's been awesome. Tatum situation. I mean, who do you sit? Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, somebody's got to sit. And by the time he started to sit, I think in the quarterfinals, semifinals, I think he played a little yesterday. The dream team, somebody had to sit. I mean, those were 12 or 15 or how many guys they took of the best players ever to suit up. Better than this team. They dismantled this team, I think. The original dream team. Maybe not dismantle them, but you know what I mean. Neil Bush is with us this morning. Good evening or good afternoon or good morning. What the hell? I don't know where the hell I am. Number 7 for France. He looked like he could play in the NFL. He was hitting someone the whole game. It was a physical game, I will say that. And the refs, and in fact, there was commentators mentioned it several times. Noah, Eagle, and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was not that good, by the way. They mentioned several times that they let them play. And in this, I think in this competition, they should do that. It's a very physical. The international game can be, I think, as a rule, much more physical. The girl just looks like Caitlin Clark on this. It's a USA. I mean, Caitlin Clark didn't get on this team all of a sudden. She looks just like her. But I think that's the guy that I was thinking. He does look like an NFL linebacker, by the way. I think he's the guy that was a big fan favorite for the French. One of the big fan favorites. Some people in the U.S. got a gold medal for doing nothing. Well, you get a gold medal for being part of the team, right? And sitting and cheering your teammates on. If we're talking about basketball, I'm assuming. That's part of it. You don't not give gold medals to guys who just don't play. Everybody in the NFL team gets a Super Bowl check, no matter whether they play or they don't. They don't give more to the starting quarterback than they give the guy who's the 53rd man on the roster. So I'm not sure I understand why. Again, I wish. And Jason Tatum, yes, he spoke up, and his mother spoke up, and that was probably the worst part of it. Almost 30-year-old man, your mom's fighting your battles for you. That's not a good look. And Dave Portnoy, by the way, from Barstool, what a freaking blowhard. God bless him. Love his pizza reviews. They're funny. This guy fell into freaking, $500 million freaking career, if you will. And because Jason Tate isn't playing, he rooted for the French yesterday. You freaking loser. Sorry, that's right, Dave. You're a loser. I've seen Dave up close in the Saratoga area because he's got a home up here now. He's here through in Saratoga. Always posts how he lost, $25,000 or $30,000 in a day. Dave, you're a freaking blowhard. I know you're a big Boston fan, but that's just stupid. That is actually stupid and childish. I wish you would watch the show. I used to post the show, by the way, on Barstool Sports, the college, their college group, and it used to get up there. So, Dave, if you watch this show, you're a moron, an absolute moron. I don't know how much clearer I can be. You fell into a $500 million cottage industry just by saying outrageous shit. Excuse my French. Reviewing pizzas. Anyway, sorry for the rant, Anthony, during your post. Shout out to Sam Coffey from Sleepy Hollow. New York midfielder for the U.S. Women's, what is that? WSNT, what is that? I'm guessing that's soccer we're talking about, right? And they won the gold medal. I don't know. Midfielders play soccer, I believe. I'm not a big soccer fan, but yes, congratulations to that whole team and to Sam Coffey here from locally in New York. We had a Capital Region Olympian from, gosh, I can't remember who he's from. Maybe Eagle Park. I don't remember. Maybe one of you local guys remember. He was either in the hammer throw or the shot put. Didn't medal. But I think it's like his third Olympics too. Paul, I was all for that. Another thing, you can go back and look at the tapes, man. They're there. This isn't like Mike Francesa and WFEN. The tapes don't disappear. When I'm right, they're there. When I'm wrong, I'm there. And I admit when I'm wrong. And the field sucks, and Drake May lights it up. At some point, it doesn't have to be this year, by the way. Drake May's not going to light it up this year. It's very unlikely. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I admit all the time I'm wrong. So many guys doing this type of thing. I don't maybe I rationalize once in a while, I guess. Because again, I have a lot of people work for me in sales. There's a very fine line between reasons and excuses. And I try to come up with reasons why when I go wrong. Some of them are usually just I didn't know what I was talking about. But I was all for this exact scenario. And then maybe take a quarterback in the 6th round. I might have still had Joe Milton. All for it myself. Good morning, Danny Fuller out in L.A. I wore a different color today, Danny, just so I didn't confuse you with the. I get the confusion. I was talking to Danny. Always points out what color top I'm wearing. If I have his Dodger blue on, Yankee navy blue, the navy blue and I can't tell navy blue and black hardly the difference. I have a little bit of color blindness, and navy blue and black are very tough for me. You watch the Yankees on TV, to me that. It totally look all the pinstripes, all the hats, everything looks blue to me. The jackets, everything. I'm sorry, black. It all looks black to me. It's all navy blue. So I was kidding, Danny. I had a black top on Friday, and he thought I had my Yankee colored top on. But anyway, I don't know why that's important to me. That's got to be on your end, Danny, because we have volume. I believe I've been going for an hour and 40 minutes and nobody said I don't have volume. So check your computer. Make sure you haven't turned off your volume. We're going with NFL Plus and ESPN Plus for this football season. I don't know what that means. Oh, channels? I didn't know the NFL Plus had a channel. I have the ESPN Plus all the time because there's so many college games you're going to watch there. Some of the, I like watching some of the more obscure games sometimes. They also do a lot of great original programming, all the 30/30s for theirs. It's a great buy. By the way, at least with our cable company, you can bundle. In fact, I had to get this fixed because you can bundle ESPN, Disney, and Hulu for cheaper than I'm paying for ESPN Plus right now. So, and stupid me still hasn't got that taken care of. Because we do use Disney. I use somebody else's login. I bet Mr. Ed could break dance. So that goes to my point about the whole dressage. I'll tell you a funny story too about the dressage. Dressage, which is horse dancing. But I want to put them in a pool. I want to see the horses break dance in dressage. So we can rename it, to break dressage or whatever. And then put them in a pool, like it's synchronized swimming. It would be very interesting. We might lose some horses, and that would be sad. But, it's all for the good of the sport. I know that's ridiculous. By the way, it's funny. When we were away, I bought dinner a couple of nights, and it's not cheap because there are a lot of drinkers in this crowd. One non-drinker, my wife. And my granddaughter, of course. So it wasn't cheap, but again, it's stuff I like to do while I'm working and can do these things. I'm going to do them, even after, probably. But anyway, my stepson had said, "No, let us do this. Let us do this." And I said, "Your time will come, and you'll take you'll take care of me when that time comes." And he goes, "Yeah, I'll get you dressage tickets." And I said I was saying more like a jaguar. War. True. I cannot not say. Sounds wrong. Jaguar. Anyway, I don't think I'm getting a jaguar. They had horses diving off the pier at AC until it hurt people's feelings. Great point. Horse diving. That was a big thing back in the day. Yeah, I know. Everybody's up in arms about everything they want to take. Listen, here's the thing. Well, diving horses off of piers, I guess, is one thing. But, for you people, and if there's any of you watching, then, look, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry if I offend you, but I don't want to offend anybody. People get offended, they get offended. I can't help it. For those people who think horse racing should be banned, and there are some people that I know and are acquaintances. I don't know that I have any friends that think it ought to be banned, but they think that this is, wrong for the horses. Now, with the way some of these horses are treated after their racing careers, I'm fine. I get it. Some, especially if they don't have stud value, are not treated well. Stud or mare value, they're not treated well. I mean, the story of Ferdinand, if you don't know it, won back in '86, I want to say, the Kentucky Derby, and he was a 50 to 1. I remember betting that horse. The trainer that entered him said that he was never going to enter another horse. He hadn't entered a horse in a Derby in like 35 years and wouldn't enter one until he knew he could win. Willie Shoemaker was on the horse, one of the last races, I think his last Kentucky Derby win for sure, and the last before he was paralyzed in a car crash. Anyway, I made a bunch of money in that race. But he was a gelding and had no value, and he ended up with a terrible fate. That I get. As far as the racing part, which is where they're really focusing on, because so many horses, have to be destroyed after races. It's sad, but these horses are bred to do just that. If you didn't let these horses run, you'd be doing a disservice to them, in my mind. And too many people have too many causes today. My God. Everybody's offended and wants to defend. We got to defend. And it's always. Never mind. I could go on, but I'll just get myself in trouble when I talk about, the guilty people that want to pay reparations and take away the name Redskins because it's offensive. I mean, I get some of it, but it's not those people that are complaining. I'm not going to be guilty for things that happened decades or centuries before I was born. Doesn't mean I don't care about it. No more NFL ticket. Too many people enjoy. I love the Red Zone CA. NFL tickets priced itself out. My wife had access to it through her son last year. I won't get it. I go out for the Patriot games. She doesn't necessarily like to go out with me. I wish she would. But I go out with my friends. That's the time I see my guys. And I get to see people back in my home area that I don't normally get to see. And I have a lot of fun. It's just a day out for me, and it's a lot of fun. And I enjoy being out watching my team. She prefers to be home watching our team. But when I'm home, if the Patriots aren't playing, for instance, I've got the Red Zone on all the time. Chicken chasing should have been an Olympics or centuries ago. Rocky Balboa was, if you remember, it's one of the big training things he did for his boxing. Yeah, Austin Wells has played well for the last month, maybe 6 weeks. But Yankees have an Aaron Judge problem. That's one of the things I didn't mention in my kind of opening remarks. The problem is this. I don't care how hot Austin Wells is or stays, and I hope he has arrived. His bat was really never the question. The question was going to be his catching skills, basically. And he's done a decent job. Can't do worse than Trevino was doing. I mean, they stole 9 bases in a game against him, didn't they? I might have that wrong, but I think I'm right. But I'm walking Judge every time to pitch to Austin Wells. You'd be stupid not to. And that's where we're approaching. Yankees have a problem. They're going to have to maybe flip-flop Soto and Judge in the lineup. They've talked about moving them up to 1 and 2, which I don't think I like. The Royals did that back in the 80s or 70s, maybe, probably 70s, with Brett and McRae. They've hit them both at the top. I think Brett might have let off, or vice versa. Again, I don't remember the exact order, but they had them 1 and 2 for a long, long time. But they can't let teams pitch around Judge the remainder of this year and into the playoffs. And if Wells keeps hitting, again, hopefully, I don't think Wells is going to be able to carry the numbers Judge would carry. I don't think that's too much of a stretch if he was pitched to. So the smart play is to walk Judge every single time. And I hope Wells continues to make teams pay. Have you set a retirement date and plans for freelance sports media? Theoretically. I don't talk about it a lot publicly because I don't have, I haven't told anybody I have a plan. And in the coming months, I might talk about that plan more. But yes. Average lifespan of NFL players, 54 to 59 years old. It is a rough game. And some of those guys aren't paid a lot of money. I get it. But again, even The minimum salary is over $300,000. These guys know what they're getting themselves into, right? And again, I don't want to. I think it's sad that some of these NFLers die so young, and the quality of life is not great. But the game is a violent game, and if you change it, by the way, there ain't going to be people making $60 million a year when you put flags on them, because people aren't going to watch. Oh, by the way, another sport. So boxing's out in 80 or 28, 88. Wow. 28, but flag football's in. Who cares? Jordan Alvarez, best qualified hitter in the NL with a 304 batting average. Witt, what? Is that right? 304? I think we talked about this last week, actually, right? That the lowest I remember was Carl Yastrzemski at 301, and I had the year wrong. It was 1968, not this Triple Crown year. Witt 347, Quan 326, Judge 323. Yeah, and by far the most dangerous hitter in that whole list. And Bobby Witt's a great player, by the way. And so is Guerrero. Judge's numbers are astronomical. You look at Judge's numbers after he got off to a slow start. Since that date, his OPS is like 1.3 something. And it's not just 20 games, by the way. It's about 80 games. Maybe more, 90 games. Anthony's got a great point here. 1-800-GAMBLER for the people who are gambling on preseason football games. Oh, that's an excellent point, Anthony, man. I don't know what people are thinking about. Throw your freaking money away. 6 players have 30 or more HRs. Judge, Ohtani, Uzana, and by the way, Ohtani's still got a shot at 50-50. I think there's every chance he might get it, unless he stops running because they worry about him getting hurt. Ozuna, Santander, Caleb Marte, and Jose Ramirez. I didn't know Marte was there. There's a guy that I had on my fantasy team for years. Always hurt. Anthony says the problem with players getting hurt in training camp. Well, yeah. Players getting hurt at any time. Players could get hurt anytime. And they get hurt. Because here's the thing. Preseason should be and training camp should be for getting, and this is what it was for 100 years or 75 years, whatever. Preseason and training camp was to get teams ready to play. Part of getting ready to play was getting hit and getting your body conditioned to get hit, quarterbacks included. And now we don't do that. And then once training camp's over, they don't even practice. They don't even hit in practice anymore. So when guys get to games, they're not used to getting hit. That's one of the big problems. And the problem with not playing guys in preseason is we get crap football for 4 to 6 weeks. I'm tired of watching games in September that are just awful. Those are the preseason games, but they count now. So they're going to get hurt whenever they get hurt, right? I mean, Chris has got an NHL. It's becoming a 50-50 option to have your fourth line as a Legion of Doom. We miss the Legion of Dooms. Or keep going with a fourth offense line. Islanders' entire fourth line are made up are on sale this year as free agents. Matt Martin, Kale Clutterbuck, free agents. What team this year wants an instant mix of Legion of Doom? You say Chicago. Well, the Blackhawks could use some kind of infusion because it's sad. One of the things that I really like in hockey is following the original six closely. I'm a big Ranger fan, and I freely admit that I'm more of a fair weather hockey fan than any other sport. But the Blackhawks have been just atrocious for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years at least now. And they were a powerhouse before that. They've had powerhouses throughout their history at different times. Had some of the greatest players in hockey history come through there. Bobby Hull and Tony Esposito, Mikita. I remember those names when I was a kid. And I always root for those original six teams. So yes, if somebody wants to do something different, shake it up, Chicago would be a good candidate for that, Chris. That's pretty sad that we even have to have this conversation, right? Max Fried and Kevin Gausman lead with 2 complete games. May have to bench them soon for throwing too many pitches. You got to push that button, don't you? Oh, God. What's Fried's hurt half the time now? I'm sure it's because he's thrown too many pitches. We had this discussion with one of our new viewers on a Major League Baseball update talking about Tanner Houck. How did he do Friday night, by the way? How did he do when he pitched the other night, Drew? Now I'll pull it up because by the time I see yours, it would be too late, right? Let's check. I'm going to go back to Friday because I know he'd been struggling. And Drew, again, no, this is not an attack on Drew. It's an attack on the fact that we have to have this conversation. Looks like he didn't pitch very well. I was hoping he had a good game. Stan didn't pitch bad. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk. The bullpen, Lucas Sims gave up all the runs. 82 pitches. That's a lot, 6 innings, but still. 3 walks, no K. Pitched well. Because the conversation came up that the feeling was that he was overextended because he's pitched the most innings he's ever pitched, 134. Well, now he's got 140. And it's really, it again, to me, it's a huge statement on what's wrong with baseball and the way we approach pitchers in general. That we have to talk about guys. And again, this isn't about Drew. This is about the overall conversation in Major League Baseball. 134 pitches. Anybody's overextended? God. I did better before I retired. No excuses, but health and hospital have affected this season. Well, that does that. Those aren't excuses. Those are reasons. And I'm not making excuses. This is fantasy baseball chatter, by the way. Again, I tell you that everybody has time to do the things they really put their mind to doing. So, again, my problem is I just forget. My intention, and a lot of times I go in the morning and I do it with the intention of going back in the evening and double checking to see who might not be starting and whatnot. But after an 11-hour, 12-hour day, sometimes I just don't. Yeah, it's probably an excuse more than anything. John is watching now. Good to have you with us, John. We talked earlier, John, if you're still with us. I know sometimes we get behind on comments. It doesn't look like I've gotten that far behind, though. Johnny Dove, we talked about earlier, his good friend Bob Sherlock and Rick's brother going into the Semi-Pro Football Hall of Fame. And John, I mentioned to Rick, if you weren't watching earlier, that I will start my crusade to get you in now. Just like I am Veda Pinson, as I had Veda Pinson Jr. on the interview, my one-on-one interview show a couple weeks ago to talk about his dad. We're going to start a campaign for you as well. Johnny never comments. And Johnny, if you do comment, I don't know where you're commenting because I don't ever see it. I think we get everything from YouTube, and I think we get, again, maybe the Northeast. I don't know what platform Johnny watches on. A lot of times I can see people. I can see where they are. So we got a bunch on TGI Sports Talk Facebook page. We got none on Northeast Streaming Sports Facebook. Oh, that's because that's YouTube. Oh, those are YouTube. Sorry. We got a bunch on YouTube. We got a bunch on TGI Sports Talk Facebook. We got just a few on my personal page. But we will start that. Oops, what's this? Sorry. Of course, I was kidding. I know you're watching. Yeah, I do. I don't watch it the way I should, though. I do watch it the way I should. I make moves that are, again, I try to make moves that will help me. Sometimes I'm just trying to fill roster spots. I've had so many guys hurt that I just got to grab guys, and I got to drop guys on the IL that I don't want to drop, but none of them are coming back, it seems. But a lot of times when I don't get my starting pitchers in, believe me, there's nobody madder than me. I don't even know. I may have lost points this year because I didn't reach the innings limit some weeks. I don't think so. I got to watch. I got to look today because I know I got to be pretty close. I got one starter today. I may have to pick up a starter today and risk something. Which is appreciated for all our managers. How Rick does it while compromised. I agree. Here's an irony. 2 of the 3 best teams in baseball have given up the most. By the way, I'm going to come back to that, Drew. Oh, you're still here. Here's an irony. 2 of the 3 best teams in baseball have given up the most HRs. And not a good sign, by the way, as we head to the postseason. Because I think it's hard to say. I think the Yankees have starting pitching issues. I think the bullpen might be okay. I'm not crazy about Clay Holmes at the back of it, but we've got some guys coming back, hopefully in the next couple of weeks from injury. I think pitching will be the downfall of both these teams, and possibly with the Patriots. Patriots have not entered the American League. With the Yankees, I think that lineup is still not, long enough, deep enough. Wells is going to have to keep doing what he's doing. DJ's got to, hope his resurgence is real. Glaber's got to do things I don't think Glaber's capable of doing anymore. Verdugo's got to stop being in the top 2 or 3 and men left on base. Or maybe the kids come up and play more. And by the way, Drew, I'm going down to our mother-in-law's later because, we were gonna have a get together today, but my wife's not feeling well. I was gonna get her for that, but I got her. The chair is gonna go today. Pop's old chair, the lift chair, gone today. So she'll have some more room in the garage. Here's an irony: 2 to 3. We just said that. I don't disagree. I mean, the only guy that I would say, the only guy I would put up there even close to him would be Jerry West. Stuff's a great shooter, man. I'm going to say again, I can't stop throwing support. I've never seen anything like I saw yesterday. Those 4 baskets, I mean, a couple of them were straight threes, but he'll shoot from anywhere. He put up one from about 10 feet past the line earlier in the game. And it's not like he's just heaving it up. These are shots that he makes all the time. But those 4 baskets, 2 of them were just he was out of his mind. The Wemby shot, again, I've never seen anything like it. The arc he had to put on that ball and still have the type of accuracy that he had. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I had a lot of fun. Listen, basketball, pro basketball in this country's got a lot of grief lately, right? Those guys were out there playing hard. They played good defense for the most part, and when they didn't, it showed. What are you doing? Sorry, I got a cat around my feet. But these guys get ripped, right? These guys wanted to win badly. The team HR comment was completely wrong. Well, lead a hitting HR. That's just a minor issue. Don't let details get in the way of a good story, Drew. So Baltimore's got more homers than the Yankees. That's interesting. I'm not so sure Judge is going to have a chance at 60 unless they figure out a way around this, pitching around him problem. What'd they do with him yesterday? Let me get to yesterday's scores. What did I want to check the 2 Yankee box scores yesterday. Well, Judge got 4 at bats yesterday. 3 hits. Why pitch to him? Well, Wells is 2 for 5 behind him, but still, you got to hit in 325, and his OPS is 1,200 plus. I'm sorry, 1,100 plus, and the guy behind him's high 7s. It's a no-brainer. Why do you pitch to him at all? I don't. Rendon pitched good for 5 innings yesterday, too, by the way. What about game 2? What happened? I think that was game 1. What about game 2 that they lost? Where is it? Did they have them together? Maybe they had them together. There it is. Game 2. 1 for 3 with a walk. Stanton actually gets 2 hits behind him. Ugh. Yuck. Stewart is the player. What's Stewart? Who are we talking about? I've lost the context of that comment, Rick. Please let me know. Physical game. Did you see that guy from France come from the court with a blood pouring out of his eye toward the end of the game? I did. Again, we talked about it earlier too, Rick. The officials. I think the international game gets physical at times anyway, and they let them play for the most part, and I think they should. I mean, nobody wants to see this decided by referees, right? And I think it's best that they let them play. Very physical game. Listen, France, I give France all the credit in the world. They played as well as they're going to play. Well, 2 of them did. If it wasn't for Wemby and the guy who I can't say, his name starts with a Y. Might be the same guy Neil was talking about earlier. Because I think he was number 7. Those 2 guys played great. And behind him, nobody really stepped up. Fournier, I mean, I remember talking Friday about the gold medal game, and somebody, might have been Jack, talking about how Fournier's a force to be reckoned with. Where? I mean, he stunk it up in New York. Can't count on a guy, and you saw yesterday you can't count on him. But give the French credit. I think they played a great game. Security offer still open when I go. I might need it, Rick. I might need it. Padres 7 in a row, 9-1 last 10. Playing great baseball. 2.5 back, I think. I was talking at the top about the National League West race. Danny was with us earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but the Dodgers looked like they were going to put this thing away. Now, pitching issues. Get the Betts issue, who's now in right field. No more shortstop for him. Padres are back in this race. So are the Diamondbacks. And the Giants, who I have won 4 in a row, they were one of my dark horses. Where are they in a wild card right now? Only a game and a half out of the wild card now. First onset of hiccups today. Excuse me. Let's hope it goes away. By the way, the women are losing right now with 8 seconds left in the half. They're losing to France, 25-23. The tapes did not work for Carlos. Not in his favor, they didn't work, but it's funny. He comes out. He was on one of the shows. Oh, what was it? I think it was one of the Mac and Jack shows. He came out and he commented about something he was right about. He's got revisionist history. Well, he was talking about Cortez, Nestor, and his struggles, and the Yankees talking about trading him at the trade deadline. You know, it's not the fact. I really don't think it's the fact that Nestor can't pitch as many innings as he pitched, because that was Carlos's argument. Again, this whole I hate these arguments about guys throw too much when guys used to throw 300 innings, and now if they don't do that in 2 years, it's too much. Nestor's problem is the league has caught up with him. Nestor is a bit of a novelty act. You know, just herky-jerky. And I'm going to have Jeff Fry on soon, former Major League Baseball player, and you're going to hear some interesting stuff come from him about the way the game's played, the rules of the game, the way they teach kids to hit, the way they teach kids to pitch. Guys who do these, a bit bush league things like Nestor does. I'm not a big fan. Maybe people are entertained by that stuff. I'm not. All I care about are results, and I think the league is caught up with Nestor. It's got nothing to do with innings pitch. The league's caught up with him. End of story. AL East and NL West have 4 of 5 teams at or above 500. You know, the Rays are not out of this thing yet. I've written them off several times, but they're not out of this. They're certainly in a wild card race. It's going to be a lot of fun. We didn't think, and it brings up a great question. What do we got left here about? I'm going to try to get done close to 10:30. If we go a little over, fine. I got to start getting this because I only got a few weeks now before football. Got to start getting this to 2 hours. Plus, if I keep it under 2 hours, 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds, I get to repost the show on Roku later. But again, it's not a negative thing. You guys are so engaged in this show. That's why I have this problem. It's a good problem to have. I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, the divisions. Do teams really care about winning divisions? 12 teams make the playoffs. Too many. Probably 8 too many. Well, we're not going back to those days. I know that. You know, but if you're the Yankees, do you really go all out the last month to try to win, or just get yourself ready for the playoffs? That's what'll happen. All these teams will have it. And I think it still matters because at least on a positive side to all these teams being in, at least they made it very, very difficult for wild card teams to advance. At least against the division winners, because they're going to play all 3 games on the road. I think it's still a record. 1979, Willie Wilson is 5 inside the park home runs. Yes, it's Sunday morning, and I've got some old cards out. Yeah. Boy, inside the man. Willie Wilson was an exciting player at his time. Playing, and listen, the perfect artificial turf player. Well, let's just fact check Chris real quick. Inside park HRs. Hang on. Career, it was Jesse Burkett. The leader live ball era. He hit 13 for his career. Where's the one for the first season? Let's try season. Inside the park homers are rare today. You know why they're rare today? You know why they're rare? Give you one guess. I'm going to come back to this. I want to give somebody a chance to answer. Why are inside the park home runs so rare today? Don't let me forget to come back with the answer if you guys don't. Please, everybody comment. Because the answer is very obvious and right in front of your face if you watch games. There it is. Most record for no, that's home runs. You know, Google, you're letting me down. I'm going to say you're right. Somebody else can find this if I'm wrong. Why are there fewer inside the park home runs hit in this era than any other? Right in front of you. Here comes Brittany Griner. Or is that Grenier? I really don't know. Yeah, but it's been a long run with the ticket since it started. But Red Zone, 3 locals. Yeah, I agree. I had the ticket for about 10 years, and then we started getting together to watch the games. I don't know, 10 or probably 12 years ago. No, more than that. Hell, Tom Brady misses season. That's 17. I don't know how long I had. I probably didn't have it 10 years then because I don't know how long it's been around. Maybe I had it 10 years. But we've been going out to watch the game since about 2001. 20 plus years we've been getting together. Me, my buddy Mark, and Joe the Pro. And then we see all our buds. Well, they see them because they still live up in the Amsterdam area. I'm only up there during football season. That's why I have fun with it. So keep your money, Google. I don't need to give you money. At Google, YouTube, sorry. And by the way, you're going to need to get more outlets than just that because you got to get Netflix to watch games on Christmas. Peacock will have playoff games. You know, right now, I hope they don't watch this show, but the people that sold us this townhouse, it took me forever to get all of my sign-ins back up because they didn't sign out of anything. Well, I never used Peacock, and my wife wanted to watch this series that was on Peacock, and I'm like, we're not going to get it. You're going to need the premium. Well, they're still signed in, so I'm watching their stuff. She didn't sign herself out. She's paying for it anyway. She probably wonders why all this stuff's coming up in her, watch list. Everything else I put myself, all my own logins in. Danny, Chris, thank you for the link. Much appreciated. I think the Stankies, Keith Engle, holding something against the True Blue Dodger fans. I'm wearing, Cardinal colors today. $750 is the minimum salary. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. So again, I know what I got myself into, right? Keepers, creepers. Okay, yeah, I did get that. Oh, 750. Yeah, I knew that. If it was 750 million, then we'd be in trouble, Rick. I would have found a way to go and get, all I would need was like a prorated 1 day contract, right? Danny thinks he will go 50-50, speaking of Ohtani. My only thing there is, and here's the thing, it's similar to it. In some ways, it's similar to Judge, right? Do they keep pitching to him? So if the guys behind him are hitting, which they are, or mostly have been, he'll get his home runs. Question's going to be, as the season wears on and they start to, think about playoffs, do they give him the stop sign? And that's very impressive. I mean, has Ohtani stolen more than 20 bases in his whole career before this? I know I slowed this show down myself too. Because I got to know the answers to frickin' everything. This is my life. No matter what I do, I got to know the answer to everything right now. I can't wait to find out. I got to check it. 26 was his high before this. Bill Pulver in London. Too many pubs. So Waldo has been found in London. I knew he was over there visiting. His daughter lives in London. I saw you up with the 7 sisters yesterday. Glad you survived that. But apparently there's too many pubs and he needs help. I'll be there. I can be there in about, I don't know, 7 hours. Who's going to pick me up at the airport? And plus, it's going to be like the middle of the night. Danny's in the house for sure. 7 players already at 20-20. It's not even a big deal anymore, right? Oni Otani is at 30-30, 35-32 to be exact. I think I kind of agree with Danny. I think he might get there. The red doesn't do any justice, my friend. It makes you look like a high friend. Actually, I was out in the sun yesterday, so it's probably that more than anything. I fell asleep for a little while in the sun, so my forehead is really red. This doesn't help. It doesn't. It's the only color. It's either this or I'm the whitest guy in America. So you take your pick. Sometimes I get washed out too. If I can't get the lighting right, I've had a lot of trouble with lighting lately. One of my ring lights broke, and I got this other one that I've had forever that I kind of like. It's not bad here. The lighting looks good here, I think. But my work, my teams, Jesus, I look awful. But part of it is because I don't use a green screen, and the background I use, I may have to turn the background off again. Problems nobody cares about. Hollywood Brown injured, probably out 4 to 6 weeks. Mahomes receiving corpse gets thin again. Doesn't matter. He's the best player in football. Not, by the way, not it's not Tyreek Hill. Great player. He's not the number 1 player in football, as he was voted here a week or 2 ago. Mahomes is just too good. Until he loses, he's the favorite to win. I don't care who's right. Who were his right receivers last year? Besides Kelsey at the tight end. I mean, there's a week they had to bring Hardman back after he stunk it up with the Jets. I still think Sky Moore will be a good player there. But this injury does hurt them for sure. I mean, they just figure it out. When they're struggling in midseason, you guys are all writing them off. Not you guys, meaning everybody out there in the social media world. Just remember, you're the champs until you're not. Told you that the last 2 years. I think all they've done is won 2 Super Bowls in a row and 3 out of 5. Why give Keith that fuel to rip his Yankees first place is unbelievable. They're a game behind, by the way. Did I call them Patriots? I did call them Patriots, I know. It's hard. I got all my teams playing now. Looks as if Brandon Ayuk's holdout may be ending soon. I don't know whether he's going back. When did Brandon Ayuk really think he was? Does he think he's as good as CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill? Because he's not. He's the third option there. And I know he's not asking for quite as much money as those guys are getting, but I think he's got an overzealous opinion of his worth. 49ers gave him an option to go talk to teams and work out a deal. He wouldn't. He crossed the Patriots off his list because he didn't like the quarterback situation. Same with the Steelers, I believe, which only leaves the Browns. And I don't blame him. I don't want him anyway. I don't know that this guy's going to be a number 1. I really think his success is built off of the fact that they got Samuel and Kittle there and McCaffrey. Here's a headline that speaks to a team reality more than any other. Panthers chartered flight. I said this morning. This is funny. Panthers chartered flight veers off the taxiway, gets stuck in the mud. Well, safe landing. Sonia, who's a big Panthers fan, on the Big Football Show this morning on National Streaming Sports, she was describing what happened there, and the way she said it was kind of like what you were saying here, Drew, just worded a little bit differently. And there's no better metaphor for a team, as Drew says, than this. She was talking about how they careened out of control off the. It's got a bug. Where are these bugs? Oh, sorry, dudes. Women's basketball team will win, but they're showing their age. I don't even know how old they are. I know Brittany is, 33 or 30, maybe, I think 33. Now batting for New England Patriots, Kobe. It's Jacoby Brissett, and he's number 14. Good to have you with us, Mac. Novelty player like Kaepernick. We're talking about Ayuk. I won't disagree with that comment. Nick Foles did retire. Good point. God, has that guy been a freaking thorn in my side? Rondell Moore switches bird teams cards to the Falcons, and there's his knee out for the season. Falcons, by the way, I don't know if I like the mojo coming out of Atlanta. Good answer, but wrong. That's not, it actually probably contributes, but that's not the answer I was going for. Got a couple more coming up. Does it cost you more dollars to go out? It definitely costs me more dollars to go out. About a $60 outing, but I get to see my friends. And I like being out amongst those guys and just going back and forth with them. So again, it's when I get to see my friends, Rick. So that's why I go out. We budget that into the smaller ballpark with I get what you're saying there. Also, so much information on every batter hitting tactic. I'll accept the answer but not the one I was going for. Star. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for the stars, Danny. Inside the park, home runs, better fielder, better arms, less players taking a risk on the base paths. But you're saying it's hot dogs and lack of effort. I'm not saying it's hot. Yeah, well, yeah, I thought you meant eating hot dogs. True. Drew's got the right answer. Those other things probably all contributed to it. I won't say that. But not one guy, shouldn't say that. Rather than a few guys in Major League Baseball, nobody busted out of the box. Nobody. How many guys? Juan Soto, perfect example. Judge is probably less so. He's not getting inside the park home runs as a rule. These guys, and again, they take less chances, protect their bodies, so those answers are good. Smaller ballparks, good answer, but there's also still some ballparks out there with funny bounces and whatnot. Not as many as like Fenway. So to your point about whatever adjective that Danny used, those are all contributing factors. The number one factor is guys don't hustle. End of story. Easiest thing to do in all of sports is to run hard. Don't need any talent. A little coordination, but no talent. And they don't do it. Every single night, I can turn on a game, whether it's the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Mets or whoever your favorite team is, the Red Sox, and I'll watch guys turn doubles into singles and triples into doubles. And it only makes sense inside the point home runs into triples or maybe even doubles. So, yes. All of those things are valid points that Drew made and Danny made and Steven made. Number one contributing factor is lack of hustle, which is sad. New Sunday setup, 70 screen for the red zone, 260 for the local games, 250 for darts. I know. I didn't mean to. I know you were making a joke. I just find it hilarious that darts gets the same amount of TVs as football. How many dart matches can there be? Oh, we're getting close to being able to wrap up on time. I'm still not going to get today's show in. Oh, maybe if I end the next 30 seconds. We'll see. I'm not going to rush this out. Women basketball locked up at 25 at halftime. It's now 33-25 with 8 minutes left in the game. France. Rose. France 8-0 run to start the third. Unbelievable. You guys have a great week too. CA, good stuff. Guys, we're going to wrap it up. And if I wrap it up quick enough, I might actually get this show replayed. Guys, have a great week. Thanks for contributing, everybody. Enjoyed it. As always, we'll see you next week, and we're going to start getting these shows ended at 10:30. Bye-bye.